Say, oh, Ariel does not want to be on the live. I haven't done one of my Samantha Leith Manifesto ones for a wee while, so I thought I would do that today. What I wanted to talk about today was becoming a constant learner. Now, many people are under the total misconception that you go to school and you learn stuff and you leave school and you get on with your life and that's it. Do you know if that's what you do, if that's your attitude, you will actually stop growing when you leave school. Like, that's it, all over Red Rover. You're not going to expand your life, your mind in anything, in any way, shape or form. Learning is, there's many sayings, like learning is a gift you give yourself. I love that one. But for me, learning is, it's a habit. And I talk a lot about habits, you know that. But it's something you have to build into your life every single day. And it's important when you're doing it. If you have a job or a business, for example, that means you need to keep up with, for compliance points of view, means you need to do certain levels of re-education every year. That's one thing. I hold that in kind of like a different category, because that's something you need to do to maintain what you do. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about when I say be a constant learner. I'm talking about finding things that interest you or inspire you, or a topic that you might have randomly read something in the news or heard about something going, oh, that seems interesting, I want to know more about that. They're the things I think I want you to be wanting to constantly learn. Now, you can look around, as you know, you can look around my office. At the many plethora of books. Like, I'm an avid reader. But I read for at least half an hour every day. I try to do a book a week. It doesn't always happen. I read non-fiction, good old-fashioned non-fiction in paperback or hardback if it comes in. I read fiction because I've recently gone back into reading fiction. I went through a phase of going, I don't want to read about murder and all those things because I like crime fiction. It's all too depressing, but it's fun. I like that. I read those on my Kindle because I kind of can't justify paying the money for a book that I'm only going to read once. Whereas most of the books in here, like 1 Minute Millionaire, for example, I've probably read this 4 times. In fact, I should probably read it again. It's a great read. But most of these I will read definitely more than once. Sometimes, some of them multiple times, and I'll mark them and make notes and sticky things in them and all sorts of things. But it's not just about reading. I listen to podcasts a lot. I recently, probably about 6 months ago, came across a podcast I hadn't heard before. Fell in love with it straight away. So I think I'm now up to episode like 200. I've just been, every time I'm walking the dog or in the car, I'll be listening to the podcast. I also listen to audiobooks. I know there's this Amazon has this funky thing called Whisper Sync, where you can listen to an audiobook and read it on Kindle and they kind of catch up with each other. As I said, I use my Kindle for fiction, so I don't do that, but apparently that's really cool. So maybe I'll give it a whirl one day. What else do I mean by constantly learning? Even like reading blog posts of people you find interesting or on topics you find interesting is really edumacational. That's a word, you know, edumacational. Okay, it's not. I made it up. But educational. And empowering, all those things I love. Another thing you can do is take courses. I remember years ago doing a French cooking course with some family and some friends. And the first night we all turned up to the course and my brother pulled out a bottle of wine because, we're cooking French food, let's drink wine. And everyone was like, oh, can you bring wine? Like, okay, we didn't get in trouble. So the next week, everybody came along with wine. And that was fantastic. There's a couple of dishes I learned in that course, which would have had to have been 16, 18 years ago now, that I still make. So that was $400, whatever it was at the time, really well spent, okay? Another thing I do is I buy courses, I invest in education in that way. So Marie Forleo's B School is an example of that. Denise Duffield Thomas's money course is one of those. Like, there's so many things you can do online these days to invest in your education and constant learning. Masterclass does some fantastic ones. I've been really keen to do some of their stuff. But I will get there. It is something I definitely want to do. Maybe I'll do the Serena Williams one about tennis, see if I can learn how to play. Okay, maybe I won't do that one because I don't think I can play tennis. But they have some fascinating ones. Even when you're on the interwebs and you're cruising around the interweb and you see this or that or this or that, and someone might offer you a free download, and yes, it will be to join their mailing list, their email list, but some of those can be invaluable. There's a saying on the internet, the best and most successful people on the internet give away their best stuff. Like, they will give you the keys to the kingdom in the stuff they do on their blogs, in their podcast, in their free downloads, all of that kind of stuff. So make the most of it, but don't become a learning junkie, because that can just be, if you're doing that constant learning to the extreme where you're just consuming, that's passive action in your life, and you don't want to get into that habit, because you just keep going around a treadmill, and you can 9 times out of 10 you actually start suffering from shiny mirror ball syndrome, and it's like, oh, I see a disco light, I'm going off there to learn something, and you don't want to do that either. So be strategic about what you're spending your time learning. Next year, for example, one of the things I'll be learning in 2020 is French again. Now, I haven't studied French since I was in high school. And Greg St. Vincent was my French teacher, and I'm Facebook friends with him. So hi, Greg, if you're watching. But Elodie is studying French again next year, and she's doing it through distance learning through her school. So I'm going to do it with her. Like, I'm really excited by that. And who knows, maybe I'll remember things. Maybe it will all be completely blank and I won't remember anything I did at school, which is probably more likely. But I'm excited by that. So be a constant learner, but be strategic about what you want to learn, and be choosy about where you get the information and what you're learning from. Don't just learn to saturate yourself with stuff, because our brains they don't technically get full, but we can feel like our brains get full and really overwhelmed when we are trying to learn too much. So that's my happy Monday to you guys today. Don't forget to be a constant learner. Go over to samanthaleith.com and sign up for the weekly dose of sparkle, and you'll get more juicy stuff in your email inbox every week. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Mwah.